Hello, everyone, and happy Thursday. And I just wanted to share something that happened in September of 2022. Maybe you guys remember the Hurricane Ian that touched down in Florida. Well, that's when we were vacationing with my parents. I took a week off and I struggle with back pain, and somebody recommended to go to like a mineral springs and kind of like it's got a lot of minerals in the water, so the longer you're there, it helps recover and helps your body and your bones and your joints and whatever. So we went there for about a week, and we didn't really know that there's a hurricane coming at that time. So we were there for about a week, and I was supposed to leave Thursday. My parents were supposed to fly out. Oh, I was supposed to fly out Tuesday. They were supposed to fly out Thursday. So, the closer we're getting, this is about, Saturday, Sunday. Now everyone's talking about the hurricane. It was routed towards Tampa or Sarasota, and then, they're routing it, kind of predicting it's going to hit, Tampa. And we're like, well, that's still kind of far because we were more south. And so everybody just kind of starts thinking like what to do. And by the time it was supposed to hit, they were predicting it would hit on Wednesday. So I'm thinking, okay, well, I'm like, I can still leave. It's going to be Tuesday. My flights are still fine. I'm going to be fine. But it's like, well, I'm not leaving without my parents because they're flying out all the way Thursday. So that means they have to wait out the storm. And so we just, it's about Sunday, and we're just thinking, what to do. I had my husband in Ohio just try to, find different ways that we can leave. At this point, I was just going to lose my tickets. My parents were going to lose their tickets. We were trying to change the dates and all that stuff. And of course, the prices are insane. And, option A, option B, option C, I'm like, Dad, what would you like? What do you think we should do? And he's like, oh, we should do this. My mom's like, no, no, I don't, let's do it this way. Let's take this route. And mine was like another opinion. And I'm like, man, we're so stuck. We don't know what to do. But at the same time, it's sunny, it's beautiful. It's like the calm before the storm, like absolutely gorgeous. And so, this is Sunday that we start talking about it. And so we're just like, you know what, let's just pray about it. I'm like, I'm going to pray about it and see what the Lord tells us. And like, we'll just hear from the Lord what he wants us to do. And we're just going to trust the Lord in this decision because, I was saying, if there's an option and we all agree, like in unison, and like we just all are like, yep, we're doing that. It's I'm trusting that it's from the Lord, that it'll be so concrete. It'll be so like bum, word for word, and just we'll be like, all right, let's go. So I prayed about it Sunday night, and after we ate dinner, I'm just kind of, my parents went to their room, and I just kind of still sat at the table and just praying. I was like, God, give us wisdom, give us like what do we do? Like if we take the rental car up to Ohio, we're gonna have to pay also a lot of extra. The tickets are so expensive to change within a day. So anyway, everything is just, nothing is, we can't make a decision. We can't figure this out. We're just like, oh my gosh. So I'm like praying about it. I'm like, God, give us wisdom. Show us what to do. Like, make it so clear that this is from you and this is what you want us to do and that everything will be all right. Like, orchestrate the whole thing so it will be like without question that this is you. So as I'm praying this, and right before I open my eyes, Isaiah 4:6 is just a verse that pops up into my understanding, my whatever you call it, to my head. And I'm not too familiar with Isaiah. It's very hard for me to understand Isaiah. And I go and I read Isaiah 4:6, and here's what it says. So I can read the verse 5 later, but this is what is in verse 6. There will be a booth for shade by day from the heat, and for refuge and shelter from the storm and rain. I'm like, all right, that means God is telling us, I got you. You're going to be just fine. Just wait for me. Just wait on the Lord. So, and verse 5 also says, Then the Lord will create over the whole site of Mount Zion and over her assemblies a cloud by day and a smoke and the shining of flaming fire by night. For over all the glory there will be a canopy. And then verse 6 is the one with the booth for the shade by day from the heat and refuge and a shelter from the storm and rain. What is God saying here in Isaiah is this is God's promises that he is our protection, that he is our that his presence is there. When he was taking out Moses out of Egypt, that's exactly what he did. He provided them shelter. He walked them through all of it, and that was his proof that I am here. Like, I am here, I am walking you out of this. And this was just, I was like, wow, God, like, all right, we're just going to wait on you. And Monday morning came around, and we're going to Mineral Springs. We're just going to go to that lake, and we're just going to wait on the Lord, and we're just going to enjoy ourselves and just, see what the Lord says. So we go, and then also at the same time, there were these, my parents' friends were there. And there was this lady that she's very, how do I say it? Like very authoritative sort of, but like very kind, very gentle, very but her word, the way she says it is like, okay, like I'll do it. It's just, it may be influential, I guess. And so she calls us up. She's like, yeah, we're leaving. They were there with their daughter and they lived in the Carolinas. And so she's like, hey, we're leaving. So we're getting ready to go. And she's like, we're leaving in the morning. And we're like, all right, safe travels. And she's like, what are you guys doing? And we're like, well, we're just going to wait on the Lord because, God spoke to us. And this is what we're going to do. We're just going to wait on the Lord, and we're going to just see what, how he speaks and what we're supposed to do, because for them it's a much closer distance to drive. So they had their car, you get up and you leave. And for us it's like, oh my gosh, we're all the way in Cleveland, Ohio. So, and driving, we were just thinking, with my parents, my dad has sciatica problems, so he can't sit too long. And we're like, man, driving is not an option. Plus staying up all night and all that stuff. Excuse me. So then we go out to the Mineral Springs where, the whole day we were there. So we come home about 3-4 o'clock, and I just cannot stay awake. Like all week I was fine. We go to the springs, we eat, I'm awake, I didn't even want to take a nap. And that day I just was so sleepy and so tired. And there was this heaviness of sleep over me. I just was out till 7:30. I wake up and I'm like, oh my gosh. I'm like, Mom, Dad, why didn't you wake me up? What am I going to do all night? I'm not going to be able to sleep till 2-3 in the morning. I'm like, oh no, I shouldn't have slept. And then my dad too, he was knocked out. He was just out. He's like, I just was out. I was so just, this heavy sleep came on me, and he's like, I was just out. And same thing, he woke up about the same time. Little did we know that this was God's moving on our heart and in our plans that we didn't know yet, but God knew exactly the plan that was going to be taking place. So the lady calls back again. So she's talking to my mom, and she has her on speaker, and she's like, what are you guys even thinking about? What is there to think about? She said, pack your stuff, take the car, and start driving. Now, mind you, when they left, they were stuck in traffic for 3.5 hours because everybody was evacuating at the same time. So they didn't get to their place until like midnight, and their travel time is usually super short. And I think it took them more than 12 hours just to get home because it was a nightmare. She said everybody was leaving at the same time and it was just chaos. And we're just out in the sun and just taking it all in. And just, God said he will take us out, and somehow we will, and everything will be orchestrated. So long story short, she's like, what is there to think about? She said, grab your stuff, have some dinner, pack your car, and get out of here. Just go. And we're like, okay, we're going to go. And then all these things start coming into play. That's why we slept during the day, because if I didn't sleep, it would be impossible to drive at night. And we had to drive all night. And the same thing with my dad. He slept and I slept, and we were just like ready for the road. And I'm like, God, you are so good. Like the things that we think are happening is all with God's will in it. And we might not understand it, but we will at one point, we will understand it when God reveals it or he shows it to us. But it's the whole trusting thing. Like, God is so amazing. Like, God tells you, like, I'm here. My presence is here. I'm with you. Just as I was the same God that I took Moses out of Egypt, I am the same God today, and I will take you out, and you will be just so surprised at how all this stuff happens. So get this. We were all in unison. We're like, so you want to go? Yeah, let's go. Yep. All right. You pack in the car. Dad, yep. Let's go. Pack the car. We're like, all right, we're doing this. So as we leave, we're just kind of calling the car company, and they're like, don't bother coming to Tampa. Tampa will be shut down. The whole airport is going to be shut down tonight. So there's no point. Take your car wherever you're going. You will not be charged any fees. So we didn't get charged on the car. The airlines were refunded for, when we came, that was, used up. But then the airlines that we were supposed to take to Cleveland, both of theirs and mine, was refunded. So we pretty much didn't lose anything. And I was like, God, thank you so much. So what the lady said, there's nothing to think about. Grab your stuff, drive to Charlotte, because that's where we live. She's like, come to us and, take a couple hours to sleep, and then you can head out. And we're like, no, that's okay. We're just going to head out. Guess what happens? We go exactly to her house because that's all we can pull up. We're just so exhausted. It's 9 a.m. in the morning, and we're just like on autopilot, my dad and I. And it was just so hard to drive. And I was like, we're going to her house. Just give her a call. Say we're stopping by it in the morning, and maybe we'll sleep for a couple hours and then head out 1 o'clock or something. And that's what happened. So through her, God spoke and said, you need to leave now. You need to pack the car and you need to go. And for us, that was the trusting moment that this is what God wants us to do. And it's just hearing, I just kind of asked God, I'm like, make it so clear that we're all on the same page and that there's no doubt, that there's no doubt at all. And that's what happened. And she's just, you need to do this. You need to go there and stop by my house on the way and take a nap. And we're like, no, that's okay. Yes, God wants us to take a nap at her house. So it is just amazing that this is what happens when we search the Lord, of anything that is happening in our lives, the small things, the big things, guidance, just, God, what is your will for me in that moment, for that part of my life, for, this plan that we were supposed to go, it was, the prices were like $800 extra to pay on top of that for just them per person. And it was just it was just out of the question. I'm like, we can't afford that. That's insane. Just to change the tickets. And we're just, we're definitely not doing that because we don't even have that kind of money. And we understood that the Lord spoke. And I just was so grateful that God is testing us. Are we listening? Or did we just ignore that, or did we take that Isaiah 4:6, and did we go into Isaiah 4:6 and see what the Lord spoke? Or did we just kind of let it go because, oh, it's just nothing. I wasn't sure what's in Isaiah. I kind of have an idea. I read it, but it was just kind of hard to understand at one point. And so, yeah, if I can just be encouraging to you guys, God's promises that he is here, that he is for you, that his will is for your life, and he knows best what's best for you. And just to learn to trust that. Sometimes we have our life so like gripped in our hands that we're just like, no, it has to happen this way. No, I need this job. I want this. You don't even know what you want. You don't even know what you need. God knows exactly what you need. God knows exactly how to guide your life. I remember this story, quick thing. A friend of mine, she said, I was like, God, give me this job. I really need this job. I was on this floor of the nursing, in the clinic. And she's like, this job is so much better. I need this. I want this. Please let me get this job. And God's like, all right, you never asked my will in it, but here you go. She gets this job and she's completely miserable. She's like, I thought I wanted this, Lord. And so from that point on, she said, whatever God's will is for my life, she says, I know that God sees my heart, right? I want this job, but is this God's will for me? And that's what we have to really, something I learned, just kind of letting it go. And trust me, God sees our heart. Just say, God, you see my heart. And if this is your will for us, guide my thinking, guide my, life around it, and help me trust you in that. So I hope you guys are encouraged by this word, that God is for us, God's protection is over us, God's presence is always there. And if I could encourage you guys to really test to hear God's voice in moments like that, it's just one little testimony about how God came through, and it can't be any more clear. There will be a booth for shade by day from the heat, and a refuge and shelter from storm and rain. It was about to start pouring and raining, and it can't be any more clear. It's not like, oh, what do you think he means? The Lord speaks in such a way that you just don't have any doubts, any like, could it be this? Could it be that? When God speaks, it's very clear. So be blessed, you guys. I hope this brought you some encouragement to really seek the Lord. And instead of saying what I want, ask the Lord what his will is for that or this or that or whatever plans you have. Put God first, and amazing things just start happening, and things you would never even expect. And I was just not even expecting to get like the tickets back, and I was like, it is what it is. As long as we don't have to pay more, it is what it is. But everything was returned. The fee wasn't, for the car, nothing. And plus, on top of that, I missed one main thing. The ride was so smooth. Barely any cars. We were just very no traffic. We left at about, I think, 9 p.m. Until 9 a.m. we traveled, and it was just perfect. We had just a little bit of rain in parts, but clear, sunny in the morning, clear at night. So God just smooth sailing. So trust in the Lord with all your heart, and do not lean on your own understanding. And in all your ways acknowledge him, and he will make your path straight. I might have messed that one up, but that's the message. Trust in the Lord with all your heart. Also wanted to say that during this whole time of deciding what to do before the hurricane was coming, there were a bunch of locals that are like, they always, scare us more than the hurricane actually hits. And as the storm was supposed to go, up on in Florida, and then with each day. It was like, actually it's going to hit a little bit lower, and then actually it's going to hit a little bit lower. So what ended up happening is the place where we were in Northport, that's where it hit. That was the eye of it. Like that, I mean, that was like the main destruction in that specific area. So also with that being said, you know, no one knew how bad it's going to be. It was really bad. A friend of mine couldn't even get back to their house for a while. So God walked us out of that. And also I wanted to add that, you know, in the storms that are coming, you know, as we live in such a time where it's just so unpredictable, and we're like, just, this world is just hanging on a thread. It just seems like, man, there's no hope in anything. So I want you guys to put your hope and trust in God, that is the maker of this universe. He will walk you through that storm. He will help you. Yes, we will go through the storms, but he will walk right next to us. Sometimes he will carry us. But our main thing is just to trust in him, and give him all our, you know, okay, God, this is all you. I'm just being obedient. I'm just going to listen, and, you know, you guide me. You do what you got to do. And I just want to be obedient child and listen to you. So just praying that you guys learn to trust God in the small things, and he will definitely help you in the big things and in the storms of life, or actual storms, or, you know, pandemics, and all this stuff. So that you don't have fear. You know, fear is not of the Lord. It is of the devil. And right now, everything is just fear-based. You know, they're just, you need to do this. You need to do not have that fear in your heart. It will only take you down this hole that you will never get out of. Learn to trust God in those things. And the decision making. When something seems off, search the Lord. God, is this something we should do? Is this, you know, and God will always speak. God always speaks. You just have to learn to hear his voice. So yeah, I just needed to add that because I forgot in my video. Have a good day, guys.